The uprising in Egypt has moved into its 8th day. The Egyptian army seems to have thrown its weight behind what's fast becoming a countrywide revolt. It's vowed not to open fire on protesters, demanding the removal of President Hosni Mubarak. The army says it respects the legitimate rights of the people, and that effectively gives a green light to the planned march of 1 million people through the streets of Cairo later today. Middle East correspondent Ben Knight reports from the Egyptian capital.
Even though police have been reappearing on the streets of Cairo, the neighbourhood watch is still there, and it's still armed.
There's no Egypt. We are Egypt.
No government. There's no government. We're representing our street. We're representing the security and everything here.
Cairo is still under curfew at night, but there's a shift in the atmosphere in the city. The anarchy of the last few days is calming. In Tahrir Square, the protest was once again noisy but peaceful, and it appears to be getting more organised.
Somehow, word has passed around that today is the day for a 1 million-man march to make a definitive statement to Hosni Mubarak.
But the president was sending a message of his own. For hours, army helicopters flew low circles over the crowd.
The people are shouting, "Go away," to the army helicopter. And we're sensing that there's some tension starting to develop between the people and the army. We've just seen an altercation where people were directly asking a soldier, "Are you with the people or are you against the people?" Because right now, people are starting to wonder.
That doubt was removed later in the day in a stunning statement released by the army, saying that it would not fire on the people even if it was ordered to. It's effectively saying it's prepared to commit treason, and that is yet another blow to Hosni Mubarak. Meanwhile, life in Cairo is only getting harder. With the protest now in its 8th day, food prices are rising as supplies run low.
We have a shortage of supply. The farmers come to the city one day and the next day they don't. They're afraid they might get attacked and robbed on the way.
But that's not the only problem.
We have no money. I want to shop here, but I have no money. The ATM cards aren't working, and I don't have any cash.
Hosni Mubarak still has plenty of supporters, but their voices are being drowned out by the massive crowds that gather every day in his capital city. And neither the president nor the protesters are shifting. But this standoff is going to end one way or another. And it's hard to see a way out from here for Hosni Mubarak. Ben Knight, ABC News, Cairo.
And Ben Knight joins us now from Cairo with the latest. Ben, is it looking like there will be 1 million protesters at this march?
Well, that's difficult to say at the moment, but I can tell you it's a very different morning to what we have seen over the past 8 days. Today, it's around about what would normally be the rush hour in Cairo, but the only rush is towards Tahrir Square. Down there this morning, even in the early hours, we saw people starting to arrive in numbers. Now, that hasn't been the pattern. Normally the day starts very calmly and the crowd doesn't really begin to build up until around about the middle of the day. If this pattern continues this morning, this will be a massive march, and I think it has everything to do with that statement by the Egyptian army.
Well, Hosni Mubarak appears to be making some concessions to the protesters. Is it going to be enough to save him, do you think?
Well, it doesn't look like it at the moment, and I think whatever concessions he has made have been negated by this statement. As you've said, the army hasn't just said, "Please keep the peace and we're not going to shoot at you." They have said that we respect the legitimate demands of the Egyptian people. Well, today the demand of the Egyptian people, or at least the ones gathering in the square, is that Hosni Mubarak resign. It is a complete distancing of the army from the man who has kept them strong and who have kept him strong for the past 30 years. The supports for Hosni Mubarak are falling away beneath him. There is a real sense of that here this morning, and it looks as though it is going to be a turning point in Egyptian history.
Ben Knight in Cairo, thank you.